Letter number 20, straight mail, November 11, 1943. Dear Margie,
Received an aerograph dated October 28 and in which you had received my 10th letter, about one half the number I have written.
I am glad you feel so well, but take things easy, darling, and don't overdo it. You mentioned to me not to assign any more money to you.
Well, dear, I will wait now until I get a trade pay and will send you that. It will only mean about $8 a month more, but will help with the insurance at least, and I can get along with what I am drawing. In fact, I have saved nearly £2 to date. Smokes are the only things I have trouble with. If you can send me some each month, I would be well away. They are nearly 3 cents each here and are shorter and thinner, besides they taste like H. Well, darling, your letter has set my mind at ease, and if I can let you have enough to cover most of the insurance, it will help you a little. I should be drawing trade pay about the middle of January if everything goes according to schedule.
Well, dearest, there isn't much more news, in fact any news except that Sid is back from the hospital, but Clarkson is still there. We have 2 weeks of training left, and will I ever be glad when it's over.
The weather here is always dull and chilly. When the sun does shine there seems to be no warmth from it. What a place. Yes, dear, the war news is looking better, but there is still a lot to do. One thing, the Air Force is really going to town. We see or hear them going over all day long and most of the night.
I can hear them now, and there must be hundreds. The drone has lasted nearly 10 minutes, one way to celebrate the 11th.
It will make Jerry think. I was sorry to hear of George Armstrong, too bad, but for the best if he had cancer. It won't seem right without him coming into the cottage at will.
I wonder what Ola and Eva will do. Must write them, but hate the idea.
Well, darling, all my love, we'll write again in a day or so.
Take good care of Junior and Jean Dachus. As ever. Roger XXXX. Letter number 21, airmail, November 14, 1943. Dear Margie.
Well, darling, I had a really pleasant surprise this week. 2 airmails from you, one November 1st, the other on the 4th.
In the first you told me all about the doctor's report.
By the way your letter read and through the information the doctor gave you, I believe she really must know her stuff, and am glad you got hold of one so good.
Must admit that I was a little worried as to the medical attention you would get.
I am glad she stressed more rest and sleep.
However, according to your last letter, you don't seem to be getting much.
Cut it out, dear. Just because you are in such swell condition is no reason to go running around and strain yourself to the limit.
There is no reason in the world why you can't get your sleep. Remember, this is more important than entertaining, visiting, or knitting clubs. I don't mean that you should sit at home and twiddle your thumbs. I just think you could do it and wouldn't want you to, but you can make it a point to get home early and get some sleep. How do you like that for a lecture, my dear?
Sure, glad to hear Barb and the baby are so well. I know you were all a little worried about Barb.
By the way, what is my new niece's name?
So, our big day is to be March 16th about.
If it should be the 17th and a boy, I think the label should be Mike. What do you say?
If it is a girl, one name is still Margie, and I hope in either case they look like you.
Gosh, I said they, what if it was twins? Some start.
Well, darling, I finish this training in about 2 weeks, 10 days to be exact.
And start the topo drafting or survey on the 7th of December. Hope to get a leave between time. 9 days if I can make it. Boy, it's cold and miserable out, rain and wind with a little frost at night.
There is no heat in these shacks during the day and I am nearly perished.
They say the warm weather starts in about the end of January.
I hope so. It can't come too quickly for me. The boys have just come in from church parade. I jumped it as usual. They are talking about the Padre. Apparently, he gave them quite a lecture. Guess this is the end of the paper, darling. We'll get a straight letter away in a day or so.
So, until then, bye-bye for now. All my love, dearest. Jean Dachus. As ever. Roger XXXX.
Note from PB, the new baby would be Judy Nilsson.
Letter number 22, airmail, November 17, 1943. Dear Margie.
Well, darling, here it is Wednesday evening, the end of another week's training, only 1 week left to go. I then hope for a leave, don't know just where I will go.
Guess I will have to see some of the relatives, but would prefer to see Paul. He is near some of the mining area. We have a pretty tired section today due to a 22-mile route march last night. After about 10 miles the lads started to drop out. Then at about the 14th or 15th mile one lad collapsed, pitched headlong into the ditch as cold as a cucumber. His heart, I believe. 3 of us carried him to a farmhouse about a quarter of a mile away. That just about got me. There we brought him around, phoned camp for a truck and took him to the 8 hut. I got to bed about 2:30 and did 6 o'clock ever come early. We have an all-night scrum Friday and another 20-mile next Monday. I hope that ends it for me. 10 miles is alright, but 20 certainly doesn't do the men any good. It only cripples them up. The Air Force is still turning it on. They were going over for about 1 steady hour tonight, about every night this week. Jerry doesn't retaliate much. All the sick lads, Sid and Clarkson, are out of the hospital but are not reposted to our company as yet. I hope we are not separated. So, Al expects another overseas draft. I hope he looks me up if he has time off over here. I would sure like to see him, but wouldn't want to wish this place on him. I am wondering whether Don will be over on the next draft. I hope he gets a decent rebound before he is drafted, as I doubt he will last long over here in his present condition. Then again, it will be too hard on the folks. I am wondering if Mother is in Windsor yet, do you know? Well, darling, how is little Junior, and are you getting the required sleep? I hope so, dear, but frankly I doubt it. I know you. Some of these fine days I will get home and then I bet you will come to bed. Well, here it is about the end of the paper again. There never seems to be enough of this paper, so we'll have to give you any additional news via straight mail. So, until then, all my love, darling, and take good care of yourself. Give my regards to the family. Jean Shoes. As ever. Roger XXXX.